please give a massive round of applause for the wonderful Azeem Ahmad. Oh, he's got props. He's bringing a chair. Are you going to do a flash dance for us?
Wow, thank you very much. Ooh, love you too. Oh my God, hello everyone. Wow, this is bright, and I've got a very shiny head, but we'll roll. I'll be honest, look, everyone's been great, right? And I know this is the session before lunch. Lunch is out, don't look, just wait, I need you for 10 minutes. I can't make this topic as funny as I want it to, okay? I'm going to be talking to you about how to keep going when life gets tough. But I realise I've been fortunate to speak at lots of conferences. The session before lunch is really fucking hard to keep people engaged. So, to that end, we're going to play a very quick game. Don't go anywhere, but I've hidden a prize underneath one of your tables. If you find it, you get to keep it. You've got 10 seconds to find it, and that's it. 10 seconds starts now. Amazing, amazing. We've got a winner. You can stop looking now. I've only got 10 minutes. Jesus, right, stop. The winner is me. There's no prize, but now you're all engaged. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Also, while I've got you, if I can briefly take a sidestep and say, wherever she is, can all of you please give a massive round of applause to Kirsty for putting this on. This has been... You created this, so thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm very briefly going to talk to you about myself, because British people, we don't like to do it a lot, and I'm just going to blow smoke up my own backside very briefly. I've been fortunate enough to give talks to lots of people. I've been all over the world. I've talked to thousands of people. In the middle, that's my shiny head being broadcast to 80,000 people. Google phoned me last year and said, we want you to be in one of our videos. I thought it was a joke. I kept saying no until they actually were real and kept doing it. I've been to Spain and voted the best speaker from a talk of over 30 people from over 30 countries. It was incredible. I love it, but nothing beats Stoke-on-Trent because I'm an adopted Stokey. Thank you, all three of you. I love oatcakes. And anyone who thinks that oatcakes are like the little biscuity things, get out. Okay, right, let's be serious. I don't have a lot of time. Parts of this talk, I'm not going to say anything. And as an example, I'll show you on the next slide, because I came last year, I loved it. I wanted to speak at Confidence Live. And as of now, I can say, I did it. Right. Thank you very much. I really should have thought about picking a white background because it makes me shine loads. Also, one thing I forgot to mention was clearly, as you can see here and now, I also buy shirts that are like 3 sizes too small for me. It's my mission to try and look like Thierry, so I'll get there one day. Right, let me just give you the scene. Right, I've told you I'm going to be talking about quite a hard topic. Me, I'm a Pisces. I'm super emotional. I'll just not cry, but I'll get very close to crying. For example, I don't know how I'm going to share this with you, but I cried once when my beloved football club got to the final of one of the biggest trophies in club football. Didn't win, but at the time when it was confirmed that we didn't win, as sod's law, fate would have it, my ex-girlfriend walked into the bar at the time, and I just thought, life's shit. Anyway, resilience. What is resilience? I asked Google, and this is how it defined it. So, it's the idea of being able to withstand or to recover quickly from difficult situations and toughness. And there are some of you in this room who know me, who've been to events with me. I'm very fortunate enough to call friends, people that help me shine. And there are some of you that don't know me. What I'm about to share with you is something deeply personal. I've never talked about any of this stuff before. So I hope there's something in there for everyone, but stick with me because there's something that I hope you can take away from it. Even my cheap seat gang, there will be something you can take away from it. So part 1, right? This is called the kidnap. I'm going to get out the way and I'm going to walk over here. I need to give you a bit of background before I talk to you about the kidnap. This, very briefly, is part of my family tree. And I've just focused on my dad here. I'm the youngest of 3, okay? That's me. I've got 2 older brothers, one that's 7 years older than me, one that's 10 years older than me. They've both got 2 children. They're all girls. And at this point, I knew, in fact, I'm psychic because now that I've told you about the gap between me and my brothers, all of you are thinking this. Which is true. I wasn't. And then I wasn't, but I got all the good genes, okay? I discovered white girls' tattoos and alcohol, and now here I am. So, anyway, back to the story. As you can see, 4 nieces. My dad, he's been in the country since, I don't know, the 70s. He's been here for ages. However, if you speak to him, he sounds like he literally just arrived yesterday. I said to him, Dad, you got 4 grandchildren. I'm terrible with family trees. I was going to say nieces. You've got 4 grandchildren, all girls. I'm going to be, granddaughters they're called, idiot. I'm going to be the first one to give you a grandson. Ladies and gentlemen, I did. So, we get to this point. If you're not parents in the room or not interested in kids, sorry, I'll move on quickly. We get to this point. Partner has a scan. It's there. I am buzzing. I cannot wait to go back to Wolverhampton, which is where my parents are from, and show this to my dad. Bear in mind, I've told you he's got 4 granddaughters already. He's a pro when it comes to this moment. And I was like, his youngest son, he said he's going to give me a grandson. Boom. And I told you also that my dad literally sounds like he just arrived yesterday. I went back and went, Dad, look at this. My dad said, what is this? In his horrible, horrible accent and horrible impression of my dad. Oh my God. So, friends, fast forward, 31st of August 2014, mighty Arsenal playing Leicester. Beginning of the season, lots of hope, lots of ambition. Midway through the game, all of a sudden, I couldn't find a photo of this, so I've just put the word there and also a hint at what today is about. My partner goes into labour. Thank you. That wasn't meant to be funny. My partner goes into labour. I phone my parents and I say, cancel your plans. It's happening, okay? Fast forward, loads of stuff. It's happening. This, for those of you who are outside of Stoke, is the Royal Stoke Hospital. 100 miles an hour, heavy breathing, lots of pain. This is me, by the way. You plan for every single situation, like, right, we've got the bag, got this, got that, what we're going to need. Arrive at Stoke, can't find anywhere to bloody park. How much is it going to cost? How long am I going to be here for? I've Googled it. Labour can take, like, I don't know, days. I don't know. It could take ages. Get into hospital. Everything's great. Running along 100 miles an hour. Waiting. Finally get a room. We go in. And then there's lots of people in there, people that I don't know, but I thought I've watched enough Grey's Anatomy vicariously to understand what's going to happen next. I'm like mentally preparing myself for like every possible eventuality. So fast forward, loads of stuff. Doctor comes in, it's our turn, we go in, get on the bed. The lady comes in with the ultrasound, looks at us both, and she says, there's no heartbeat. Oh, she says there's no heartbeat. I told you earlier, I was really buzzing to tell my parents that I was going to be the first one to give them a grandson. And then, fast forward, I had to call them up and I had to say to my dad, he's gone. That was probably the hardest phone call I've ever made in my life. Not because I'd felt like a million things, but I felt like I'd let the guy down. And that happens to 8 babies daily. We'll never know why it happened, but it's an unfortunate part of life. And he would have been 10 this year, and I still think of him, miss him dearly, and he's probably looking down at me now thinking, what a parcel. The kidnap was this. As a man, I asked Google, ChatGPT, what does it mean to be a man? And it came up with words like this: strong, unemotional, rational leader. I just bottled up all of my feelings, and I didn't talk to anybody. And the image before of the car, I went out with my brother. He's like, come on, we're just going to go and pick up something. I can't remember what it was. But he locked the doors in the car and he said, we're not going home until you start talking to me, because I know you're upset and I know you're sad, and you're not leaving until you talk. And that was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me, because I don't know where I'd be or if I'd even be here now if I didn't have that conversation with him. So the first tip for you when life gets tough is to create that support system. Have people around you that you can lean on and talk to. And don't be afraid to just message someone and say, look, I need to have a chat because life gets in the way. We've heard about people saying, look, we're busy, this, that, and the other. You're never too busy to talk about your feelings. Okay, if you don't look after yourself, how can you look after other people? Right, cabin fever. We're going to whistle through this quickly because I know I can see people licking their lips and looking at lunch. This is the news headlines from the 28th of March this year. Some of you might recall that. This date holds a massive amount of significance for me because unfortunately that's the date that my dad passed away. And that's one of the last photos I took of him when he was being looked after. And on the right there, a few weeks later, I was giving a talk in Slovenia, and I've never thanked him publicly for this, but Jono in the room, who took this picture of me, it's one of my favourite pictures because I was talking about my dad at the time, and he's captured that at the perfect moment. So thank you very much. I fell back into my old ways. I was on my own in the house, and I didn't know how to cope, and I just felt like the walls were pretty much closing in on me. I didn't have anybody to talk to. My closest friend, the person that I never spoke to, he also lost his dad. So the person that I would have lent on, I couldn't message him and say, my dad's passed away. I didn't have that network. I didn't have that person to speak to. And that was quite hard for me, and I found it quite difficult. And I'm very grateful to some people in the room who helped me through such a difficult time. Will I ever be over it? Probably not. I didn't give myself that time and space to look after myself, as I mentioned before. So the idea of self-compassion, looking after yourself, it is massively, massively important. You'll probably hear about it a lot through other talks. And this bottom point about let it show up, there's a brilliant, brilliant quote. And I don't know if you've seen it, and I'll share the video on my social media, by the way, at Azeem Digital. Please follow me. The idea of letting it show up, Tyler Perry, he's doing a show, I think with Oprah. Somebody in the audience says to him, I want you to ask you a question. My mom passed away recently. And then the lady breaks down. And he said, don't apologize. She was just deeply apologetic. If you'll notice, I haven't said sorry. He said, never apologize, because in situations like this, grief or pain, it will wait. You can try and work through it. You can try and stay busy, like we heard earlier. You can keep your calendar full. The second you get a moment to yourself, it will come and it will show up. Let it out, because it's good for you. And then this, my third one for you, when time is short. We have something like 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, 365 days in a year. The average life expectancy for a male is 73 years, if you look at the States. And they eat a lot of crap, by the way. Also, that's coincidentally the age that my dad was. The only time when that person usually will hear about how much he meant to those around him is this here now, when he's in that box or when he's at a funeral. And typically, when a eulogy is given at a funeral, it ranges from 3 to 7 minutes, on an average 5, okay? American funeral directors, they conducted a study, and they said that the total time combined of all of the eulogies equates to about 45 minutes. That works out to 9 people giving a 5-minute speech, praising that one person for their 73.3 years of life. 5 minutes, 73 years. That's not a lot of time. What I want to do with this talk today is influence at least 9 people here now to do something differently and to change how they are, how they look after themselves, and more importantly, the person or the people that they'll be moving forward. If I can do that, I'll feel like I've achieved something. So, the final tip, I will give you a bonus one. The final tip is prioritize those you love and ask for help when you need it. We heard about earlier when things are busy, or will this even matter in 30 days or 5 minutes or 5 years? I say that all the time to my team at work. When you're just completely overloaded, it doesn't matter. If you were to just suddenly conk it at work, they'd probably replace you in a week. But I would literally, and I'm sure those in the room who've also lost a loved one, would rip off a limb to have an extra 5 minutes with that person. So focus on those that you love, okay? Because that's super, super important. These are my tips, as you can see. The last one I didn't tell you, which was this. I'm terrible with analogies, right? But if you treat yourself as a bunch of flowers, right? Every time you support a friend or a family member or show them a bit of love, imagine that you are watering your own flowers, okay? Those won't grow until you show those people love and support. Super, super important for you to do that. So create your support system, practice your self-compassion, let it show up, like I said. Prioritize those you love, ask for help, water your flowers with each show of support and love. Right, I'm coming to the end of the talk now. When I spoke to Kirsty, we had an idea, and I said, look, this is quite heavy, so we started off with a lot of fun. I've brought you down, like super, super down. Sorry, but I need to pick you up. So I couldn't think of anything funny to end the talk with, and in the speakers WhatsApp group, I haven't finished, by the way, this is one of the last things I'm going to do. In the speakers WhatsApp group, everybody was talking about, oh, shall we include images of ourselves as a child? So, ladies and gentlemen, this I'll be honest, what a guy, what a guy. How high were those socks, by the way? Anyway, we'll move on. The very last thing is this, look, if you found any of that valuable, all of this information I'll share with you. Follow me on LinkedIn, you can follow me on Twitter. But if you take nothing away from any of this or anything that you've seen today, do me a favor. If you've still got one or both of your parents or someone that you love and care about, at some point today, not during someone else's talk, that wouldn't be fair, don't text them, call them, or even better, go round, okay? And then at some point, just send me a message and just say these 3 words, okay? I've very much enjoyed the opportunity to be here today. The very last thing that my dad said to me was, I love you, son. That was the last words that I heard from my dad. So I'm going to end my session by saying, I love you, Dad, and I hope I made you proud. Thank you very much.
Confidence Live. Give it up for Azeem Ahmad.